Hi everybody, my name is Monica Cesarato, a food and travel blogger in Venice. Welcome to Venice Meets, a series of live chats from Instagram every day at 6 p.m. CET. Today I will be talking to Letizia Mattiacci, cookbook author, cooking teacher and food expert from Umbria in Italy.
Ciao Letizia, welcome.
Hello to everybody. Hi.
So good. How are you doing? How's it going?
Yeah, very well. Very, very quiet atop the mountain here. You know,
Okay.
that we see a lot of traffic out of our countryside
Anyway.
road. Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, yeah.
I suppose you get
Okay.
a lot of wild boars and deers running around now.
Yeah. We have recently some very beautiful large deer in the field, and in the morning we have a fox that is coming in also. And we had some grouse a couple of days ago crossing, and pheasants. So there's all sorts of birds.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, they
Okay,
keep us
so tell us, you live in Assisi, right?
Yes.
Okay, and would you like to introduce yourself and tell the world what you actually do? I know what you do, but I'll let you tell the world what you actually do.
Yeah, I would love to do it. So, my name is Letizia Mattiacci. Together with my family, I own an agriturismo. An agriturismo is a farm stay. And in this agriturismo, we have a few rooms, we rent rooms, we have a vacation rental, and we do cooking classes since many years. Many years, isn't it, Monica? Monica, how many years have you done this?
Okay, so I'm telling you, I've been doing it since 2010. So this year is my 10th year. And when I started doing my classes, you and Judy were the people I took inspiration from.
Oh,
so the only person that was doing classes here in Venice was Enrica Rocca. There was nobody else. So I didn't have any, because you need also an idea of when you have to build a website to, how it could be, because you can do it. So hands down for both of you, because you were practically the first ones in Italy to do it. Okay, so hands down.
I think Judy was probably the first.
Yeah, but pretty soon you followed. And I remember I was telling to Judy yesterday, she was my inspiration because she gave me so much free advice, literally so generous. She could have just said to me, okay, stuff, what do you want? Instead, she told me everything I could do and everything. But I remember I was looking at her site and I was looking at you also when I was trying to do the videos, because I wanted to know how to do videos. And I remember the first cooking lesson video I saw were yours, and I was
amazing.
and I want to do that. With my ex-husband, I remember going, that's how we got to do it. That's how we got to do it.
So nice.
And then after that, we became friends. So it's really nice because I'm thinking, oh my God, 10 years on, I'm here chatting with the women that inspire me. So, and as soon as I come to see you.
But it's also the opposite, because the thing is, every time I probably see you every day on the media for many years, by now, because indeed I've been doing this for 17 years. So
also
it's pretty long.
I know.
And to see all your images from Venice and all the nice jokes and the smiles and the things, and it has been a very nice experience, to know each other. And the thing is, by now we really should make a plan to meet somewhere, because it is unbelievable that we are friends for so long.
I was actually thinking the other day about something I should actually do, and I have to sit down and do this, because I realized that one thing I try to make sure all these years is to keep friends with people that do cooking classes all over Italy. Because when people ask me, they come to my, to my tours or do my classes, and they don't just come to Venice, they go all over, Italy. It probably happens to you too, but they ask you for recommendations as, if I go to Florence, if I go to Rome, if I go to Umbria, if I go to Market, what do I go to? And I realized for every region, I have a friend there that does. So I just realized that maybe I should sit down and do a list by region, one for each region. You want to do it? You want to do a tour of people that are doing cooking lessons? that's how you do it.
Yeah, yeah,
Because I
yeah,
think at the end of the day, it is also, you know, we were talking about the other day, is networking, you know, can work when it's given, you know, free. You don't have to
yeah,
think as with a return.
yeah,
It's got
yeah,
to be done with, you know, I'm sending you there because I know you will be happy
yeah.
because this person behaves like I do.
Yeah, yeah, that is a very
Yeah,
good idea. Let's do it, and maybe let's share it on our websites or
yeah.
something like that, so that people. Yeah, yeah, that is a fantastic idea. Yeah.
One thing a lot of people, well, my followers don't know, yours obviously too, but mine don't, is that you actually write books and you're a
One,
publisher also. Very
only
big,
one for the moment.
well, that's more, but one more than me, okay?
We're waiting for yours. We really
Yeah, well,
want you.
mine is written, I've got an agent. My problem is the publisher. He actually was sent in to a lot of publishers, and they all said it was a really, really good book, but there is no money in publishing. So they said to me at the moment, unless you're famous, so I need to become famous first. So and then we'll publish it.
Well, you know, you should talk to me when for the technical details in another situation, because I'm completely self-published now. I started with a
Yeah,
publisher and then I self-published, and I can give you all the tricks. And
yeah,
I
no, I know
think,
how to do
yeah, I think it
it.
works very well.
Yeah,
Well,
my
yeah,
problem is that, you
I
know, it's
know,
always yeah.
I know,
Anyway,
I
what
know.
I want to know is that you publish your book, but you also develop a certain style of cooking. So it's not just Umbria cooking, right?
Yeah,
You do
yeah,
you do gluten-free, right?
yeah, because I cannot eat wheat. I
Exactly.
cannot eat
So
wheat.
I have
Yeah,
a lot of friends that are celiac, a lot of people that are vegan, a lot of people that are lactose free. So I really wanted to talk to you. So
yeah,
in these days of quarantine, first, well, you live in a countryside, you obviously have your own, you probably have most of your own produce anyway. But what would you suggest? What easy recipe would you suggest for maybe even Americans that are, if for them it's even easy, harder than us to find ingredients of some sorts?
yeah.
So, your
Yeah,
recommendations.
okay. What I can do is just to give you an idea of how I live my life as a wheat intolerant person, together with two people that absolutely love wheat. Okay, because one of the problem I think, if you are the only intolerant in the house, is that what everybody else loves, the pizza, the pasta, the bread, and all these things, are not the things that are suitable to you, and sometimes you have to make choices. So I think the first important thing is to create a system and to be very organized. So
Okay.
in the past, more than the specific recipe, but in the past, for example, for me, it was a real pain to make pasta because you have to have two different pans for the sauce, you have to have two different pots to cook the pasta, and you have to have, if you're not organized, it becomes a terrible mess. Okay, so what I do, I have always for my pasta situation, we still eat pasta maybe twice a week. So we don't eat, we've always liked to change the recipes very much of what we do. So we don't eat pasta every day, and everybody thinks Italians eat pasta twice a day the whole week, but it's really not like this.
If you're my dad, yes.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Not this part of the family, no. So I
Exactly. So what I do, first of all, I have designated the pans that make the pasta system, okay? So I don't have to think about it. I know that I have those 4 pans, but first I make the sauce in the larger pan, and then I pour a bit in the smaller pan, okay? Then I cook the pasta, and I have 2 clocks. The 2 clocks are very important because
yeah,
you
because
want
I
to
got
put
different time of cooking, of course.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. So you have to put your own pasta something like 2 or 3 minutes after everybody else's pasta.
Yeah.
That's
Otherwise
easier.
it becomes
It becomes so awful, exactly. And so also I have a mini strainer for me.
okay.
So that when I strain it, you know, I have one pasta pan, you know, the large pasta pan that already has a colander. So
Okay.
I drain the pasta and I put it in the big pot for my family. And then within like 3 minutes, I sauce that pasta and I give it to them. And they go away and put it on their plate. Because also, it's not nice to get there 10 minutes later and they are already eating and you don't eat. There's a lot of
You are a woman of my kind. You exactly get it. Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know. Yeah.
Exactly. And so with my mini strainer, I strain it and I put it in my small saucepan. And so I have all the same. So this is one of the things. It's taken me a while to think about it, how to do it well.
Do you make your own gluten-free pasta? Or you're talking about shop bought?
I would say that nowadays there is a lot of really good shop bought gluten-free pasta.
Okay.
There's 2 types of, is there a question from someone?
No, I got the dog ever wants to go out. Just 1 second.
Okay.
She did it. I got a smart dog. She opened her own door. That's okay. I trained her well. That's okay. She just okay, good.
Clever.
I try because I'm actually intolerant, not in a big way. It depends. I go through period, but I'm intolerant. I'm not celiac. But I have a lot of celiac friends. So I did try. It's a bit hard lately because, of course, you know, we try to buy food for 1 week and I got 2 boys with me. And one actually doesn't mind the gluten-free pasta, but the other does. So for the sake of this,
exactly.
if I can, I tend to use a le veneziane because I find it is a really good. And to make lasagne, you never know the difference. I made it at Christmas. Cecilia was my guest and Marisa Convento. You would never have known it wasn't proper pasta. So I think my problem is not as much with pasta. My problem is pizza.
Yeah.
Forget.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I would say that the problem is not making an acceptable pizza, more that it's a lot of work to make it acceptable. So what I found out with many experiments, if I want, I can make a nice loaf of crusty bread. I've published quite a few recipes on my blog from this point of view. You need a biga. So the biga is like a pre-ferment. So you first have to proof it for a while, and then you have to add it to to the bulk of the flour, and then you have to shape it. And one of the problems is every gluten-free flour mixture works different. Okay, and so you have to sort of first find the one that works for you and then adapt the recipe. It's not like any other flour that more or less you can make it work. You have to have a lot of patience. One trick that is really important that I found is to use psyllium husks. Psyllio in Italiano.
Okay.
Husks. The husk is basically the covering of the psyllium seed. And that makes a sort of a gelatin that holds the dough together.
Because that's a problem when you make a gluten, it goes like,
exactly. It's sort of
as you make it,
exactly. It's so bad that you have to throw it away. I've thrown away at the beginning when I started to cook gluten-free. I've thrown away so many things. Now I can make a proper cake. I can make a crostata. I can make some noodles. If I have the time and the peace of mind, I can make some ravioli even.
Wow.
Not complete, tortellini.
They will never. It will never be, because obviously the most essential part, that is the gluten, that's what gives that.
Is not round shape. More difficult.
Do you also? Yeah. Sorry. Go, carry on.
So with this trick, so at the beginning I would make my own gluten-free flour mixtures, but nowadays it really is so much easier to buy a gluten-free flour mixture. I've also found that gluten-free flour mixture for bread work better for making pasta. It has more structure because it's made for something that has to have more structure.
Okay.
When you have, like Char, these brands that are available everywhere. Char as a bread mixture, also not too expensive compared to others. And that makes you some noodles. If you look at my last video where I show how to make the noodles by hand, you can buy with the gluten-free mixture of char and a little bit of psyllium in there, you know, for a person, maybe half a teaspoon, you can make pretty decent noodles.
Okay. One
Okay.
thing I always find, not as much as with pasta, but you know, when you make bread, dough, cakes and stuff. Well, cakes not much because I usually tend to use.
And in the pizza too. You use them in the pizza too.
Yeah. One thing I realized that the flavor. I was telling my friend Stefania, the girl that makes this, you know, the papero allo.
I know this. Yeah.
Yeah. And she's messing about and always try to find new recipe. But one thing I noticed when I started eating gluten-free is that it tends to be very sweet. The dough, you know.
Yeah.
So I just want to try to find a way not to make it so sweet. But I realize that if you use the maize, farina di mais, if you use fecola, if you use other ones, obviously, and rice flour, it always has.
Yeah.
So yes, it's sweet, and that's the thing I find hard to. For cakes, it doesn't bother me. For cakes, actually, I don't have a problem because I tend to replace the flour with something else. So I tend to use a lot of potato starch, you know, fecola, or to make crostata now, I just replaced it with chickpeas flour.
Okay, yeah, makes sense. Yeah.
Now you reduce the amount of sugar anyway, so it's still good. But my problem is always when I have to make dough like breads or like a pizza, that's like, so, you know.
Well, this thing, for example, I do a lot of crepes, which I like to feel like cannelloni, so that I don't have to make pasta at all, and you have an excellent result with those. And in the dough, it's not really a dough, it's a butter, for the crespelle, I put a couple of tablespoons of grated Parmesan.
Oh yes, but it gives you the saltness of it.
And that offsets a bit the sweetness. Also, sometimes I add a little bit of spice in there. It depends what's the dish, okay?
When you're coming to Venice, I've got to take you to Coccaeta, to Giulio Fecchio. He's just creative because we just tried it the day before we went on a lockdown. Crepes with no eggs, gluten-free.
Oh, that's difficult. Yeah.
And I'm telling you, they were better than normal crepes. I mean, it was me, it was Anna Maria Pellegrino, Roberta Denaro was watching, and Romana as well, but Brunierotto was watching. We were there and we were going around Venice. And we were all like, oh my God. And I said to him, you should just do it as it's costing you a lot of money because it's a combination of about 5 or 6 different type of flours. Because of course, if you don't use the eggs, you have to find a way to find the thing together. But it got this balance. Obviously, it uses grano saraceno and other things. And trust me, oh my God! So next time you come,
very interesting.
You're gonna love it.
The crepes are a godsend. You know what I cooked a few days ago? So I made the crepes very, very thin, and I made a chicken broth. You know, there is a dish in Abruzzo, the strippelle mousse.
I love it. I went over to Modena the other day for Christmas, and my friend, she's from here, her husband is from Puglia, but they have a lot of friends from Abruzzo and from Puglia, and they gave it to me. I was like, oh my God, I could have been so light.
So the crepes with the Parmigiano, then rolled, and then put in a plate, and then the chicken stock on it. It is unbelievable. And that is gluten-free, is perfect.
And you can carry on eating so many of it as well because it's really light. I thought, you know, when she first took it, I looked at it, she put like 4. And I said, you're crazy, that's a lot. She said, you'll go. She will look at me and said, you'll be going for seconds. Whoa, I did. Oh, you're gone. Oh, okay, yes, you're back. So, you do cooking classes, right? And you do gluten-free cooking classes, of course.
So what happens is I don't have a product that is called a gluten-free cooking class, but when people ask me for a cooking class, I ask them if they have an intolerance. Generally, I like the cooking class to be inclusive if possible. So for example, many people, when they come to Italy, they want to make some form of pasta, but I will make gnocchi, which are very easy to make gluten-free. Then
Of course.
everybody eats the gluten-free gnocchi. And then all the other dishes, they will have maybe breadcrumbs that are gluten-free, and maybe they
Of
have
course.
rice flour. For example, if I make fried artichokes, I always use rice flour because it's so much better anyway.
Yes, it's like that. We tend to, when we need to fry, yeah, we tend to use fecola,
Okay,
potato starter. Yeah,
it's a
for the same.
different effect because with the rice flour, what I do, I don't make a butter at all. I
Okay.
just make the, you know, when the carciofi, you clean them, the artichokes, and then they
Yeah.
are wet because you put them
Yeah.
in the lemon water. Then I fish them out of the lemon water and I put them in a bag with the rice flour and I shake,
Okay.
and
And
then
then
I fry them like that. And it's fantastic.
nice.
It's very light also as a fried food because the cover of the rice flour is very thin, very crunchy. It's a different thing, but it's just so easy. I do it like that. Then if I'm in the mood, I can do a beer butter, I can do a, you know, a yeasted butter, something else. But for the artichokes, when they are nice and tender, that's good enough. So
Now, so for the people that are in quarantine right now, not in Italy,
mhm,
because pretty much in Italy we know how to handle ourselves. But like, so, for
yeah,
example, in America, where also we saw these people running and going crazy and stuff, what
yeah.
would you say things that they got to make sure to have always in their storage at home, ready, the way they can, with one thing, they can do a lot of things?
That they
What
can
would-
do a lot with.
yeah.
Well, I would think what I've learned is that if you are gluten-free, a microwaved potato makes miracles. Okay, so have good potatoes handy because things I do. You know, I pierce, of course, you can cook your potatoes in whichever way you like, but say I pierce a potato and I microwave it so it's cooked through, and then I will cut it and I will make pan roasted potatoes, which actually
Mhm.
everybody likes here. So I put them in a really large pan with olive oil, a little bit of rosemary, and then I cook it slowly, 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 so it gets that nice golden crust outside. You can eat like that, and if by any chance you have a leftover, it's very important, I think, now that we are in quarantine, to be even better at reusing leftovers. So, for example, I do use it in a frittata. I mix it with the eggs, with a little bit of Parmigiano. If I have, often I freeze mozzarella balls. So I always have a reserve of mozzarella balls, which I will cut and put in the frittata, or put it on top of the frittata at the end when it's almost cooked, so it melts on top. And that
Mhm.
is also another way to use the potatoes. And of course, you can make the gnocchi with your potatoes, or you can use your potato to make all sort of salads. So
Yeah.
another thing that I do often is the sort of garbage salad, you know, they call it, the whatever is at the
Okay.
bottom of your refrigerator that cannot
Okay.
be used in any way.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
so there will be a layer of boiled potato or your microwave potato, which I like them warm, and then I mix them with a little bit of onion, better if it's spring onion, but even a regular onion chopped very,
Mhm.
very, very fine chopped parsley. That goes at the bottom of the dish, and then at the top you can have your tuna fish, you can have hard-boiled eggs, you can have any leaves you have, you can have
Mhm.
avocado, you can have, you know, anything else you have, and it makes you a great dish that also uses all the resource you have.
Yeah.
So,
And it's healthy at the
and
same
it's
time.
healthy,
Yeah.
exactly, it's healthy. You don't necessarily need to do something very heavy.
Yeah.
Another dish we like very much is potatoes cooked in a salt crust. I mean, this is probably difficult for many people to do right now because probably they can get that much salt. But
Yeah,
if for some
exactly.
reason they have a big bag of salt, they can cook them under salt in
Yeah.
the
You do the
oven.
same as we do with seafood usually, like that. Or I do roast
Exactly,
beef as well. At Christmas, I
exactly.
did the roast beef like that, and it came out perfect.
Yeah,
Perfect. You just
exactly.
timing and that, and soft and healthy as well, because
Yeah,
there is no oil. There
There's
is
no
no
fat.
oil.
There's no fat. And actually, when you cook them like that, I put them on a layer of rosemary. Okay, I have a lot of rosemary outside, so for
Well,
me
yeah,
this is
me too.
easier than others. But I put them on a bed of rosemary, cover them in salt, and then I cook them. And again, when they are even if you have leftovers, you can slice them very thin, layer them with other vegetables, put a little bit of cheese and tomato on it, and bake them in the oven, and you get a sformato.
Yeah. Letizia, since we have a lot of people from abroad watching us, and I always try to explain that each region, actually each town, has got a different way of cooking. So a lot of people don't realize that, yes, Umbria is next to Tuscany. We know that.
Sure.
Beautiful country. But you don't have the same cuisine. It's similar, but it's not the same cuisine as Tuscany and Umbria.
Yeah.
Really different, isn't it? In certain ways. You might use the same ingredients because you use the truffles, you use the wild boars, and so on.
Yeah.
But it's really interesting when I go to Tuscany, when I cross over to Umbria, and you just go over the Pennines, and all of a sudden it's different dishes altogether, and we're talking about something like that. So, what are the typical dishes of Umbria?
Okay, typical dishes of Umbria. First of all, we like to think, this is the fundament, that we have the best olive oil in the world. Okay, I know this is a very modest statement.
You probably do, but you probably do. That's probably because it's right.
So, well, you know, one always has to make a contest, but for example, one of the top producer in the world for all the prizes they get, Decimi, is just across the valley from me, so there is a reason. The olive oil is very aromatic, very intense, very grassy, but it's a little bit less rough than certain Tuscan oils. I mean, but of course this is a wide generalization, because olive oil is like wine. Every terroir has a different characteristics.
Exactly.
Okay?
You can have two producers on the same hill, but one is in the north and one is in the south or east or west, and the olive oil will be totally different.
It's magical, isn't it? So
it's amazing.
The olive oil has become very important, but we are pork eating people, because the pork has been the animal that saved people throughout the many centuries in which all our farmers were very poor. And so there are endless variations of pork in the Umbrian cuisine. We unfortunately are not very vegetarian culturally, even though we were forced to be vegetarian until probably the 50s or so. But when people
it's fairly recent. It's from after the war, when people start having money and stuff. Okay.
Because people, the Umbrian farmers, being kingdom of the church, and so very much a backwater because very far from Rome, people the farmers were sharecroppers. They were incredibly poor, so mostly what they ate was beans, if they were lucky, and then porridge and bread, and actually quite a bit of polenta. This is something that most people don't even know.
Seriously?
Yes, exactly.
You're polentoni too?
That's
and
you polentoni normally, right? Yeah, but
I know.
Also polentoni, but nobody knows it. And
I didn't have any idea. So how do they used to eat it? Like we do? I mean, I can tell you 20 dishes with polenta.
Well, what has happened is this. So in the end of the 1800s, the landlords moved much of the cultivation of the wheat. They reserved it to themselves because wheat was considered better quality food. Also, wheat has some protein, while corn has hardly, right?
Yeah. But that's why they had the problem with, they found out that pellagra, the German doctor, found out from Veneto because so many people were lacking over vitamins. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, exactly. And also dementia they got out of the pellagra, no? And so what happened with the Umbria was absolutely the same in a smaller scale than yours. So like the landlord, which were huge landowners, they would keep the wheat where it would grow better, because the corn actually was not too difficult to grow. We don't have very fertile land. So they grew corn, and the farmers ate basically the corn. So they ate the polenta with some mostly foraged vegetables, some garden vegetables, and some beans. That was the thing.
Was it yellow polenta or
it was
white?
Yellow. Yeah.
The yellow one.
Yeah,
Okay.
it was yellow polenta. And
Okay.
so, but this has so changed because after the 50, everybody had money to buy
Mhm.
as all the meat they wanted. And so we have become immensely carnivore. So actually what you find in a restaurant, if you go now, is not that many recipes. It's some form of pork with polenta. So you get sausages and in sauce and polenta. You will get, for example, the costarelle ribs,
Yeah.
also in sauce and with the polenta, or there will be maybe some mushrooms mixed in that.
Oh, you
There's
gone.
few recipes, okay?
All
But this
right.
is because what's interesting, the people had such a bad memory of eating corn that
Yeah.
once they could afford wheat, they didn't want the corn anymore. My grandmother, who was a farmer, born at the beginning of last century, she wouldn't get close to it because they had this memory that is bad food for us. We don't want
Yeah,
it.
it's
And so
a
it has,
people food. Yes, to people
yeah,
food. Yeah.
yeah. And so it has returned recently into our diet as a special food because it was forgotten for maybe like 30 years or so and become
Okay.
almost unusual. And then it came back when there was all this meat. So
Right.
not necessarily eat. I mean, the restaurant food is not the same stuff that we eat at home. We eat it as a
Right.
vegetarian meal very often, with a bit of
Okay.
sauce, some vegetable, maybe a bit of cheese. But it's there, and it was there very much. This idea, in Umbria, we have a big culture now on making homemade pasta. Every
Yeah.
grandma, every Sunday, will either make tagliatelle, lasagne, or cappelletti in the winter, the small tortellini.
Yeah.
For the
Is it?
holidays, they will make those thousands of tortellini, cappelletti. And they do this every day. But we were not pasta eaters, we were bread eaters. Because
Right.
bread
Okay.
is easier to make, and
Of
especially
course.
flat bread.
Of
So we have
course.
a flat bread, which is not cooked in the oven, is cooked over the top of the stove, like a thick piadina.
Yeah, like a tortilla, piadina, something like
Yeah,
that. Right.
yeah, it's called
Okay.
torta al testo. And
Okay.
actually, I'm making this tonight for dinner. So,
Okay.
and tonight we have a very
So
classic Umbrian
it
dinner.
doesn't. You don't use yeast. You use baking powder to make even.
Well, nowadays I prefer to use yeast because even
Okay.
for my family, wheat it is more digestible. And
Okay.
there is some people that still doesn't use yeast because, of course, this was like they didn't have ovens. The farmers only cooked in the fireplace, and
Of
so they
course.
put like a disc of stone in the fireplace, and they cooked with that.
Wow. And
Yeah,
then a
yeah.
lot of truffle. Now all of a sudden, truffles, truffles,
Yeah,
truffles.
yeah, huge. Yeah, they threw it away. They didn't know what it was for a very long time. It was not a luxury. Or
They gave it
it
to
is like,
they gave it to the pigs, probably, did they?
yeah, probably. Yeah, it is. I don't know. This I didn't find out when it became, like, I study a lot of food history. Didn't find out
Yeah, I
when
can
it
see.
became
I can see. I can see.
yeah, a luxury food. Since I remember, it was always quite expensive, although the prices here are incomparable to other places in the world. I mean, you can
Yeah.
still eat truffle with a few euro per person here.
Yeah.
As
Well, yeah, of course.
most of the year. For,
Yeah.
you have the summer truffle, you have the winter
Yeah.
truffle, you have
And
the
different
various
type of.
types. Yeah, yeah,
Do
and
you
very
have,
delicious.
do you actually in Umbria, do you have a scorzone as well in Umbria?
Oh,
Or is it
yes,
from
many. Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
But it's
So
the
the
cheapest.
scorzone is the least expensive, and then you
Yeah,
have,
let's say the cheapest. Not so
yeah.
cheap, but it's cheap. Let's say the
But
most
if you get,
affordable one.
yeah, if you get a good one, we have an old man that sometimes come to our field, and when he collects them, he comes and he gives us a few. And when
Oh
they are just
wow.
picked, it's unbelievable. It is so good. Yeah,
But that's a funny thing because for years and years and years I didn't like truffles.
yeah,
But I got to admit, I didn't like truffle because mainly I wasn't eating truffle. They were giving me truffle flavor things,
exactly.
like all the
Yeah,
stuff. And
yeah,
that kind of oils and stuff, never even seen a truffle. Is something different.
exactly.
Then, when I start doing restaurant reviews and stuff, and I start getting real truffles in food, all of a sudden it's like, yeah, I can
Yeah,
get that
yeah,
into it.
yeah.
It's still now one of my favorite things. Let's say I love it in cheese.
Mm-hmm.
I love it if it's grated on top of, grated and stuff like that. but it doesn't have to be too much. I love the smell
Yeah.
of it, but if it's overpowering,
No,
sometimes
no. Yeah, I
mm,
agree. Yeah.
and I do not like to find the bits because for me it's like eating earth.
It is
You
a
know?
little bit like that. It's better if it's shaven with that specific shave, very,
Yeah,
very thin,
yeah,
or with a microplane that comes off very, very thin. Yeah. I
exactly.
do the
So
same.
like
I
that.
have a little laboratory mortar and pestle. So if I have some little bits left, I mash it down with that because I don't like the bits too. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, because
That's
it just doesn't, I don't know, it is too
yeah.
much.
I
I
know.
always have truffle, but it took me years to get used to the flavor. At first, it's one of those things you need time to get used to it, and it needs to be proper.
And
It's
the
a bit like,
qualities are very different. One of the best dishes I've ever had. We had a little restaurant nearby years ago, and this guy was a genius. He would serve the capelletti, the classic
Mhm.
capelletti, very tiny with mixed meat, a mixture of meats. It's always
Yeah,
better if only with one type of meat, a little bit
yeah,
of
yeah.
Parmigiano in there, in the broth, and then slices of white truffle on top.
Oh,
It is
wow.
unbelievable,
So
unbelievable.
it gets flavor to the broth.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
that's
yeah.
interesting
It was
too. I
just
like
it was just a marriage in heaven, really. The capelletti in broth with the truffle white,
it.
amazing. Yeah.
Listen, so what do you actually grow in your farm?
Well, we actually have olive trees. We have 400 olive trees.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and some about 100 are very young, so they don't produce. And then we have another group that are sort of 15 years old, so they are at beginning production. And then the other ones are old. Some we don't even know how old they are.
Oh,
So in
wow.
good years, because you know that the olive cultivation has had a few difficult years, in good years,
Yeah,
we
that's what
have
I was
a
gonna
very good
ask.
olive. Yeah,
Yeah, so
yeah. So
anyway,
this is the main thing.
I always ask my guests if they can to have wear a jewelry or a piece of clothing or some food handmade. Doesn't have to be Italian, but handmade. So, what have you got for me? Or did you remember?
I didn't get the question at the beginning. You
Oh,
mean
I said that.
if I would give you a gift?
No, no, no. Oh, no, I
No.
don't need a gift. No, I said I always ask everybody when they come on show to have either a piece of jewelry or a piece of clothing or some food that is handmade in Italy, and then to talk about the people that made this thing. No, sorry, handmade, not necessarily in Italy, sorry, handmade.
Yeah.
And then to talk about the people that made it to give a bit of, publicity. So, like I was
Ah,
saying, I had
okay.
Stefania. Have you got something from me? Did you remember?
I I
You did.
I
You
have
have it.
it, but I didn't get that I was going to prepare it. Can you give me a second to go pick it
Of course,
in
yes, you
another
go in the
room?
meantime. So, I mean,
I'm putting down my phone and I'll come back in a moment. Okay?
yeah, I'll show, in the meantime, guys, I'll show you while
Okay.
it's gone, I'll show you my details. So, if you want to follow information about Venice, my Venice blog is www.monicacesarato.com. If you want about food is cookingvenice.com. And then you can find me in Twitter and on Facebook, again with the same handle, Monica Cesarato or Cooking Venice. So I come back here for you. We wait for Letizia. Here we go. Show us, what have
Okay.
you got?
So let me see if I can.
Oh,
Oh,
yes. Oh, that
can you
is
see?
beautiful. Yes.
Can you
So
see
what
what is
is it? Yeah,
this?
I can
Okay.
see the beautiful piece of fabric.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
tell
I'm
us.
going to tell you what is this.
Mm-hmm.
This is made by someone. I have another piece of something, but I don't know if it will be possible to appreciate the detail.
Oh, yes, we can. Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. So what I have basically, so I'll put it here.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see. Let me see. I don't think it focuses anyway. So this is a piece of cloth that is made from my friend Marta Cucchia. My
Uh-huh.
friend Marta has been working in her weaving atelier for 25 years in Perugia. She's a very close friend of me. And
Okay.
she works with looms that are 100 years or some even 150 years old. She works with these amazing jacquard looms. Hers
Okay.
is one of the last atelier left probably in the world, where they work with
Wow.
this type of looms. To give you an idea, only to put up the loom, it takes 12 days to prepare all the threads only.
Oh my
Okay?
God.
And you can imagine that to make like a little piece of this, a few centimeters of this, what it takes, because these are hand operated looms, and when you push it, one person complete, she's a tiny skinny woman, and when you push it, you move 80 kilograms. What's that? It's
Oh,
160 pounds.
I
Okay.
know.
And
Last,
she's a hero.
can't remember if it was last year or 2 years ago. I think it was last year. There was a big exhibition in Venice called Homo Faber.
Oh
Is
yeah, she goes
practically,
there. She
yeah.
goes there.
Ah,
Yeah.
good. And so maybe I saw her then, because there was, maybe it was her then. I filmed these people. There was this massive machine, and it was like, was it them? Or maybe it was them actually.
Should have been
And I filmed it, and it was amazing. I was like
like
that.
a wooden loom. A wooden loom.
Yeah, it's
It must have been
massive.
her. Yeah. Because I
Yeah,
think she goes there every year, and she's gotten a lot of prizes from all sort of foundations, and it's a monument that she's keeping alive. She makes very little money out of it because the cost of
hold on.
producing textile,
Yeah.
you know, in
So,
this way, it's very high.
what's the name of her shop, and where is it? Can we find her on the internet?
Yes. I can send you the information. The name of the weaving atelier is Brozzetti, Brozzetti, Perugia. I think if you look Brozzetti Perugia weaving, you will
Yeah.
find it, because she's actually quite famous. But
Okay.
from being famous and to survive is not always the same, as
It's
you know.
not, it's totally, oh, not only that, because obviously that kind of weaving is very expensive. It's not like every day. And
No,
so,
no.
yeah, you
Yeah,
have to remember, I live in Venice where we have Bevilacqua, we have Fortunate, we have other people,
exactly.
so I know exactly
Yeah,
how much,
yeah,
you know.
yeah.
And
Although she has many pieces that are very affordable. And, I made always for so many years such an effort to support her by sending all the guests of our agriturismo, that when I published my first book, she has made a cloth with the colors of the cover of my book to thank me of like 20 years of support, because I never wanted anything, because I think what she does is unique,
But yeah, exactly.
And so, yeah, it's a
I know
wonderful thing.
that feeling. I have so many friends, artists, and I keep saying to me, with my hands, I can cook. I'm not even that good at it, but I can cook and talk. And when I see them doing, I'm going like, oh my, how do you do that? It's just,
Yeah,
for me, it's
mind-boggling. Yeah,
yeah, only that I'm the daughter of a painter, an artist, and it's
I
even
see.
more frustrating because I think, God, I didn't get my dad.
But I don't know, but cooking is an art too. The thing is, every one of us has their own talent, and I think the sensibility to be able to put something that is really good, really memorable, really honest, really simple is not something that always everybody can do,
Yeah. Well,
And
I think that in the last, only during this quarantine, I mean, in the last 4 years, I realized, but in this quarantine is even more so, I realized that maybe my greatest gift and capacity is to be able to connect people together
yeah,
and to kind of energize people. I don't know. Somebody said to me,
that's true.
I should charge per volt.
Good idea.
No, but it's
Where's
true.
the plug?
I realize sometimes, when I started doing this 2 weeks ago, I did it mainly because I wanted to chat to my best friend, that is Marisa
Yeah.
Convento, the lady that does all the necklaces. And after the chat, I realized that I felt better and she felt better. So I've asked another friend that wasn't feeling very well, and I said, "Oh, come on." And she said, "No, never done it. Oh, come on. It's only between me and another 1,000 people watching, but doesn't matter. Don't worry." And
Yeah.
after the talk, she was the same. I feel so much better. And then as I go forward, I realize that, you know, everybody's the first time they do it, and everybody, oh, I'm so nervous, I never done it. I said, look, you're in the same situation as everybody else.
Yeah.
But when
Yeah.
you sit in front and you start talking, and I realize that's what I'm good at. So can't quantify, I'm going to do this after. I'll find a way, but I truly believe it right now as women, because if everybody's following me, notice I'm only getting women for some reason. I've asked men to join me on this,
Yeah.
and they're all kind, yeah, we'll let you know. I don't know, maybe. Women, I ask, okay, what day?
Let's do it. Let's do it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Let's
I
do it.
think
Yeah.
somebody said to me, oh, because as women we like talking. I don't just think it's about talking as in just talking. We like to communicate, to bounce
Yeah.
off ideas, and to kind of bounce off also energy to
Yeah.
carry on rather than stay there and complain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
And I think
And
it's the greatest gifts that we have as women. So I think even after this, if we manage to create a network of people from
let's do it.
all
Yeah.
from all
Let's do it.
sports, it doesn't have to be, you know, from everywhere, all over the world, and from other things. And it doesn't have to be a network to make money, if you know what I'm saying. Because I know there are
Yeah.
networks out there, and it's always about, okay, how can we make money out of it? I think it should be one way to help each other, because out of this quarantine, not just Italy, but I think the whole world is going to be crap.
Everywhere. Yeah. Of course. Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and we need to work together to try to help each other out without always thinking about money. I think lately, in the last 10, 15 years, it's always been everything people was doing. It was,
Monetize.
yeah,
Yeah.
what can I get out of? Oh, okay, I'll help you, but what do I get out of it?
Yeah.
You can't
Yeah.
always think like that because you don't
It's
know.
yeah. It's time to help. I
Yeah,
must say, I feel very, very fortunate for all the generous people I know. I don't know if you have seen the initiative that I started in the last couple of days has been
you
absolutely
talk,
unbelievable, no? Yeah,
talk about it. You're
yeah.
here.
No,
What you're doing.
but it's just really that in this moment also the people that want to help have an opportunity because we have the medias, we can communicate, and it's a wonderful thing, and I think it makes us stronger.
Yes.
But you have to have that intention, you have to have that value of life.
Yes.
Honestly, you know, if I wanted to become rich, I wouldn't have come at the top of a mountain and go to the mill to buy the flour rather than to the supermarket and
Yeah.
going to the butcher to buy the sausages rather than from the big distribution and
Yeah.
telling people about you should make friend with your butcher or with your granary mill manager or something.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
and
Of course.
I think we have this opportunity to recognize each other, and this is also important because sometimes you also feel a little bit lonely against all this mountain of chemistry and pollution and industry
Yeah.
and all those situations in which the all important is the money for the CEO,
Yes.
not for
Exactly.
everybody. Okay,
Exactly.
so
Okay.
it's
So
a different.
since I got you here, did you prepare your little sign with all your details so we can watch you? No. Oops.
No, I
Okay.
think,
No
Monica,
problem.
I've never received this information.
Yes, I sent you a message on Facebook. Don't worry, it's okay, no problem. Tell everybody where they can find you on your website and on social media so they can all follow you then.
Okay, so my name is Letizia Mattiacci. I think if you look me up under Letizia Mattiacci Assisi, you will find me. Also, my agriturismo and cooking school is called Alla Madonna del Piatto, which
Hold
means
on.
the lady of the plate.
I'm writing it down here on the comments so people then can see. But then
Let me find something.
when I post this on Facebook, sorry, I will be posting this on YouTube lately, and I'm gonna be writing all your information underneath anyway, okay?
Let me see if I can focus this.
No,
It
you
comes the
see,
other way.
yeah, no, don't worry about it. It's no problem. Listen, one thing I've been telling everybody, I don't know if you agree with me. because you probably, like me, you received a lot of cancellations for your cooking classes, for your
Yeah.
stuff. So one thing I keep telling it, people keep saying to me, how can we help you in Italy? Can we send you some money? Very generous people have been sending me, even though I haven't asked for it. Every so often I get a PayPal and go, oh, we just thought of you. So
Nice.
thank you, very nice.
Yeah.
Nice. But rather than doing it that way, I think what people should do, and I don't know if you agree with me, is first not to cancel the booking, but just to postpone it.
Yeah.
With a limitless date. It doesn't have to be next year, next month, next well, just say, look,
I'm back.
The booking with you, I will come back, hold my deposit or all my payments, whatever, and also to carry on booking.
Yeah.
I had a client, she was ever so nice. She said to me, I want to do a cooking lesson with you. I've got no idea when I'm coming, but I'm paying you in full for my cooking lesson. When I come,
awesome.
Then you know I'm paid.
Yeah, awesome.
Then I trust you, I can see who you are, and I'm pretty sure that you fulfill. So, of course, you know. Okay. So I think it's for small business, people like us, small businesses like this, because of course an artisan, they can go and buy. But, you know, over agriturismo, over small little B&Bs and small little run family hotels, I think that's the way maybe they can help everybody.
Yeah. Make some sort of booking and then
they can even give
you can. Exactly. Yeah, I agree. And also, if I can add, book direct.
Yes, please.
Don't book through the big agencies. Find people through their website. Find people through their Facebook pages. Don't give 20% to big companies who don't invest in anything.
And they'll refund you, because big people like Booking and Airbnb right now are pulling their, back as a not to refund people. So yes, absolutely.
Exactly. Book direct is another huge contribution that people should do, and go back to talk to the people that give them the services. Don't look at a big page where there is an agency selling you artificial things that they have created only to make money, with people that sometimes they don't have experience, they don't know exactly what they're doing. There is a translator, there is a huge bus coming in with really no contact with the local. Find your local and support your local person.
Okay, before the times run out, how many rooms have you got in your farmhouse?
Agriturismo. We have 6 rooms and 1 vacation rental for up to 6 people.
Oh, that's good. Okay, that's brilliant. And you're open, forget about now, but generally, let's say, under normal circumstances.
Next year.
Around, or do you have a season?
April to November. So we finish typically after olive harvest, because often we have tours that come, small group tours, like 6-8 people, then they come for olive harvest, and after that we close.
Okay. And do you also olive tasting if somebody wants to come to buy your olive oil?
Yeah, we do a lot of culinary activities. We bring people to other farms. We bring people to, for example, we have a saffron farm in the mountains. We go to wineries. We go outside in the countryside.
Yeah, I need to come and write a blog article about this. I need to come for a trial.
Fantastic, no problem. Come over. When you can, come over. I'll be so happy.
I'll come to see you. I'll come to see Giselle Stafford. I need to go and see Neil over in, where I don't even remember where they are. I need to, I think I got more friends in Umbria than the rest of Italy put together, actually.
Awesome.
Such a big community of expats in Umbria, but nice expats. I like it, because I find sometimes that people in Tuscany don't mix too much. Instead, the people that come in Umbria, generally the people...
We are rustic, and also there's few, it's not very, very densely populated.
Yes.
So all of us who work in food and wine and these sort of things, we sort of know each other.
Yeah, exactly.
Also Giselle and Mark, they often send people.
Yes.
I recommend them, and we try to work like this.
I know. Oh, we had fun. When Giselle and Mark came over to Venice, oh my God, we laughed so much. We really did. Okay. Letizia, what can I say? It was so nice talking to you. I feel like
I lost you.
I know we just the first time we talk like this, but I feel like we talk each other.
Awesome. Yeah, it's true. Fantastic. Yeah.
This will soon be over, and guys,
Yeah.
go alla Madonna del Piatto because she is the Madonna of cooking.
Thank you so much, and also go to Monica.
Oh, what's the name of your book?
The name of my previous book, my first book, because I have like 300 copies in this room.
Okay, so we can sell 300 copies now, guys. Go and buy, go and buy.
Copies. If you want to support me, you can also. Of course, it will come the other way, right?
But I love the copertina, the cover is fantastic. And they can find it on Amazon?
On Amazon, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Or can they buy also directly from you since you got 300 copies sitting at home?
They can, but unfortunately, the shipping of the single book to like the United States or Australia would be too expensive.
Okay.
While in Europe, once I'm allowed again to go to the post office, that would be very easy. So that's why.
Little thing that you might want to know, you don't have to go to them, they come to you. Because you can actually book the delivery and they come pick it up from your house.
Okay. From the post office. I didn't know this. Okay. That's a good idea. That's a good thing.
Since your business is where you are anyway, yes, you can definitely do that. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, okay. No, this is very good information. Thanks.
Okay,
I always send like a box at a time to Amazon United States.
Of course,
so there I'm okay. But then for other locations, I ship it directly.
The last thing before the time runs, because pretty soon I know it's going to go boom, 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 boom on top. Every so often you also go to America and you do also cooking classes there and cooking shows, right?
Yeah. And I do a lot of also cultural presentation to talk about the Italian culinary tradition, the rural traditions, the ingredients, and all the good things of our cuisine and our passion as a population to talk about food and to teach about the good things.
I told you guys she's the Madonna of cooking.
Thank you.
So you can follow her on Facebook, Alla Madonna del Piatto. She's her website. Well, you find all the information on the website. I did write it down. In the next few days, as soon as I work out how to do video editing, because I'm not good at it, I will put all this series up on YouTube. Everybody does anyway.
I can help you with that if you want, with the video editing. Yeah, we can talk. Okay.
I'm useless. I get after 5 minutes if it doesn't work, I get fed up, I'll pick up and go.
I know it's a bit of work, but I can help you. So
let me know. We'll talk about that. Okay, guys. Okay. Letizia, I don't know how to thank you. It was so
awesome. Yeah.
And in the next few days, I'll have Julia as well.
Fantastic. Okay, I'll be there to listen.
Okay. So, thank you so much. I'm gonna say goodbye and I just say on WhatsApp with my people. Ciao, bellissima.
See you soon. Ciao.
Ciao, cara. Ciao.
Bye-bye.